Hey, what's up, fam? You are now tuned into the Paging Dr.Chanda podcast. We're talking about love and relationships all month long for the Love and Relationship series. We have none other than Keishorne Scott, Brittany Brodus, Jennifer Trotter, and my bro, Anthony O'Neill, y'all. I cannot wait for you guys to hear from all of these incredible individuals who are experts in the field and taking it by storm. Do you hear me? Y'all, I don't think that you're prepared for the amount of information that you're going to be receiving. So, what I want you to do is when you listen to this podcast, I want you to have a pen and paper handy because we're going to be dropping gems all month long. Without further ado, y'all know we like to start the show with shout outs. This week's shout out doesn't go to an individual, but it goes to you who are listening right now in this very moment. The month of January and December, when I launched this podcast, I promise you, I didn't know it was going to grow as quickly as it did. You guys got this thing streaming in Tokyo, Japan, South Africa, so many different cities and states across the nation in the US. Y'all, like it's literally been serious, like a serious takeover. So what I need y'all to do is I want you to continue to spread the word throughout the month of February as we continue to talk about all things love and relationships. I want you to screenshot either this YouTube video or wherever you're listening to this podcast and place it in your story. And don't forget to tag me because some of you guys post and then you forget to tag me. But I would love, love, love to reshare, repost whatever it is that you're posting. I want you to also make sure that you're sharing this in as many group chats or what have you, as many as you can, because I promise you, this month-long series is going to bless you. Like it's going to really change the way you think about relationships, love, marriage, even singleness. We're going to be talking about all that. So without further ado, I want to tell you that today's episode is going to be amazing. I have none other than the Heartbreak, the number one, I'm sorry, the number one heartbreak coach in America, and that is Keishorne Scott. So, Keishorne, I want you to go ahead and join me. I have the number one heartbreak coach in America, y'all. It is Keishorne Scott. Keishorne Scott, I apologize. Keishorne, thank you so much for stopping by the Paging Dr. Chanda podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's long overdue. It's long overdue. So I
Yes.
appreciate you having me as a guest on your show. And I know it's going to be a great one. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Listen, you're doing so many amazing things out there. Can you tell the people about yourself and what are some of the things that you have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm an author. I'm a coach. And, I speak. I do a lot of TV now. I do a lot of shows, relationship-based shows, interviews, and TV things. A lot of things I can't speak about right now, but there's a lot of things that's coming in the coming months, and you'll definitely see more. But that's pretty much who I am. I help men and women heal from relationships that weren't worth saving. We try to get you into a better space mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. That's what we do.
I love it. I love it. Y'all know when he says I got so many things going on to the point where I can't talk about it, you know it's serious. So I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
y'all to follow
You
him.
know
Do
you signed a
it.
contract.
Exactly. That thing is major. Listen,
Hmm.
yo, I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. But you said something so profound when you were introducing yourself, helping
Hmm.
people to overcome ending relationships that weren't worth saving.
Yeah.
Can you kind of like dig into that a little bit? What does it mean to have a relationship that isn't worth saving?
A lot of people think that all relationships are salvageable.
Mm,
Like I want to save this because that's the only person I've been with for 5, 10 years. I don't want to leave him or her to go with someone else. I don't
wow.
want to start over. So they try to save relationships that they should no longer be in. And that could be abusive physically, mentally, or emotionally. Or it could be an unhealthy relationship, or it could be
Mhm.
just we're not right for each other and this relationship isn't going to work. So let
That
me go
part.
and find Mr. or Mrs. Right and let me go and do what's best for me. But a lot of
Mm.
people, they want to play Superman or Batman or Catwoman or whatever it is in a relationship and try to save people to meet their needs in the relationship, knowing that it's not going to work out.
And that's how people get into these dysfunctional relationships that keep
Hmm.
them in cycles, yo. Listen, I can tell this conversation is about to be so good. But before we get into it too deep, we typically start off the show with the first segment. The first segment is called Hot Off the Press. This is where we
Hmm.
talk mental health in the news. So because you're joining us for the Love and Relationship series, this specific article is related to breakups. And I figured, why not talk about it with
Yeah,
the number one heartbreak coach? So, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do
All
this.
right. Okay. All right. So this is an article from the New York Post, and they
Hmm.
basically stated that the season between December to Valentine's Day has now become known as National Heartbreak Season, National Breakup Season. A Yahoo dating survey found that couples are more than twice as likely to call it quits during these weeks. A data
Hmm.
cruncher analyzed more than 10,000 status updates on Facebook and found that breakups began climbing at the end of November,
Hmm.
peaking just before Christmas. Another spike appeared just before spring. The weeks between Christmas and Valentine's Day are usually the coldest and darkest time of the year. During that period, many people feel dispirited and discouraged. So,
Yeah.
Keishorne, as the heartbreak coach, I need to hear your thoughts on this. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's very interesting, because a lot of people they don't want to go into the new year. You might have
Mm,
been in an unhealthy relationship and you don't want to go into the new year with the same baggages, the same problems, arguing about the same things, accepting the
right,
same broken promises. So they call it quits. And the new year around November, October, November, December, people are changing their goals.
for
And they're
sure.
realizing they don't want to kind of revisit the same thing over and over again because it's exhausting. So as time goes, people start realizing, like, you know what, this ain't for me. I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna do it this year so I can have at least a good 2022. Because for most people, 2019 was rough. 2018,
Mhm.
2020, 2021, and enough is enough. And a lot of men and women
Yeah.
are putting their foots down and saying, I don't want to continue this anymore. And I
Mhm.
want to go into the new year with a whole heart and focus on me. And I want to put me first. I want to choose me. So I know it's a heartbreak season, but I want to call it like a choose me season. I put me
Yeah,
first
I like
season.
that.
I love me season.
I
Yeah.
like that.
So yeah.
I love it. I love it because myself, Keishorn. So when I was
Mm,
reading this article, I'm like, dang, that's sad that it's heartbreak season. But
yeah.
as you know, that's why I love having experts on the show because from your perspective, you're like, well, they getting rid of baggage. They're saying this is a better
Hmm.
year for me, and you're
Yep.
preaching already, sir. So I feel like we should just hop into these questions so that the people can get more gems from you. We ready?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, let's get into it. So today's topic, we're talking about overcoming heartbreak, y'all. So if you were listening to this podcast and if you've been in any sort of relationship, it's likely you probably had your feelings hurt or some sort of heartbreak that has occurred. So today we're going to talk further about that. So Keishorn, you have a book. It's called Bits and Pieces: Surviving
Hmm.
Soul Crushing Breakup. I love
Yep.
that. Even the title is just compelling. Like I just
Yeah.
want
It
to
took me
buy
some
that book
time.
because of that title.
Uh-huh. I had to think about that. Had to think about that. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So do me a favor. Can you define soul crushing heartbreak? Like how is that exhibited?
Hmm.
How is that manifested? What does that mean?
Yeah. I think the soul crushing part is something that changes you.
Mm,
We always go, I've been through that breakup that changes you. And
yes.
about 12 years ago, I went through a soul crushing breakup. Those soul crushing breakup is the one that crushes your soul, but kind of births something new in you, right? Like it goes
That
from the
part.
crushing and then it starts renewing you. It starts renewing your spirit. You start realizing
Mm,
things that you want in your life and the things that you don't want. And it is terrible. It's like one of the worst breakups you'll ever be in, but it's one of the best experiences for you to kind of grow and become a better
mhm.
person. You when you go through a soul crushing breakup and you survive, you come out a whole different person. You don't even
So
recognize
different.
yourself. And if you do it for, in a positive way, then your life will change. I'm talking about not even about the
Yes.
relationship, your life with your family, your friends, mom, dad, everything around you will change because the essence of who you are change,
Hmm.
right? So even if you're the person who did it and the person who didn't do it, whoever it was on each side, it works. But soul crushing is to that point where you can't eat, you can't sleep,
Wow.
you can't
Yeah.
breathe, you crying every single night.
Hmm.
People have to kind of drag you to go to work.
Hmm.
I just made a video for TikTok, and it said, that video that goes around, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to go to work. And I realized that a lot of people don't want to go to work. They don't. When you're going through a breakup or heartbreak, you want to
Yes.
sleep, eat, and just chill. And that's soul crushing because
Yeah.
it kills everything in you, spiritually as well, too.
Hmm.
You can't even pray right. So
Hmm.
bits and pieces, pretty much little bits and pieces of hope, inspiration, encouragement. Because we live in a fast-paced world, whereas TikTok videos are 15 seconds, Instagram
Hmm.
videos is 5 seconds. So we're always on the go. So if you could read a quote a day that can get you from brokenness to wholeness, from pain to purpose, then
Yeah.
hopefully it can give you some kind of strength to overcome your day by day,
Yeah.
step by step.
And it sounds like you're talking about that
Yeah.
intentionality piece.
Yeah.
When you go through a heartbreak, when you go through that soul crushing heartbreak, like
Yeah.
you have to be willing every single day to engage in some of
It's a fight.
those readings.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's why your book is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fight. It's a fight. And you got to,
Like,
and like you said, that's a perfect word. You got to be intentional and you got to
mhm,
want it. You just can't kind of want it. Like, I want to heal. No, you got to heal for you because your life,
that part.
your soul depends on it.
Mhm,
The people, because your heartbreak is a reflection of how you treat people. If you're
mhm.
broken all the time and you're upset, you're not going to give people the best parts of you. They're getting broken pieces that someone else left. So that's not
That's
fair to
good.
other people that, you're walking around broken and taking out your brokenness on them when they had nothing but love for you.
I
Yeah.
feel like we could pass the collection plate right there because that was a whole Sunday sermon. But I thank God for my soul crushing heartbreak because, like you said,
Yeah.
that has the potential to birth something in you. It has the potential to birth. For me, it was like
Yeah.
birthing that a real relationship with God, knowing how
Yeah.
to pray,
Yep.
knowing how to fast,
Yep.
and I when we talk about that soul crushing heartbreak, it kind of brings to mind where the Bible talk about that broken spirit and a contrite
Yeah.
heart. Not all the time a broken spirit
Yeah.
is a bad thing.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes that heartbreak is a part of our being, our making.
Yeah. And heartbreak is really good because it teaches you what to look for and how to love and what to love.
Mhm.
Like it says, you going into God, it says God is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit.
Yes.
So we got to understand that even though through our heartbreak, God is still there and we have to be there for ourselves as well. We
Mhm.
got to be willing to put in the work. A lot of people pray, but they don't do nothing after that. They, God, take away this broken heart. And then before you know it, you
Stay
go back
there.
to your ex. You text them. You're on their social media page. You
Oof.
trying to hit up the man or woman that they talking to let them know that they a bad choice, but they might be a bad
Wow.
choice for you. They's probably not a bad choice for them. So now you're trying to ruin a broken home, for because you're bitter when you should be healing and living your life
Yes.
and doing better. Yeah,
Yo, you stepping on so many toes. So y'all listening right now, y'all heard it first from Keishorne.
yeah,
You don't need to go to the woman as the woman. You don't need to go to step
no,
to nobody as the man and say, you
yeah,
know what, this was my ex person, my ex lover, what have you. It's not necessary if you're trying to overcome heartbreak. I'm so happy you brought that out
hmm
because you'd be surprised. Well, this is your profession. You're not going to be surprised, but people do it every day. Um,
yeah, they do.
people do it every day. So I want us to kind of dig deeper into this conversation about that soul crushing heartbreak. I think that's such a powerful, profound way of putting it. But oftentimes, when I'm treating people who are overcoming heartbreak, they seem very stuck in their
hmm
current situation. What do you think, Keishorn, are some of those things that keeps people stuck in that
hmm
heartbreak cycle?
I think a lot of people aren't stuck. I think that they just refuse to move.
Mm,
A lot of people they just don't want to. They just don't want to heal. They don't want to
wow.
move. It's because like we go back to the fixing part. Like I
Mhm.
want to heal, but I got hope, and that hope thing will get you killed. You over here hoping and wishing. Like I know he been married. I know he moved on and had 2 kids, but he might still come back. He's not coming back nowhere. He had 2 to 3 kids already. He's in a whole relationship. But a lot of people they have to change the way they think.
Yeah.
And I tell people a lot of times when I coach people, I coach clients, I tell them everything that you need to heal is right here. It's
Mm,
in your mind. It's what you tell yourself.
for
It's
sure.
the taking your negative automatic thoughts and changing it to positive automatic thoughts. Whatever you tell yourself,
Mm,
I'll never be happy. I'll be happy one day. He hates me, I
yes.
hate my life. Maybe it didn't work out because we were just completely two different people who met, and you blame yourself. So you have to kind of
Wow.
do some self inventory and say, you know what? What did I do wrong? What did I accept? Could I have left 2 years ago? Yes, but I
Mm,
stayed. What made me stay? There's so much self discovery that you can work on yourself, but people choose self destruction all the time is because they
mm,
want people to really like advocate for their heartbreak. It's like,
yeah.
I hate, and then the homegirls and the homeboys, yeah, I hate that person too. And now before you know, it's a bunch of hate. How are you supposed to heal in an environment where everybody hates your ex, your mother, your dad, your sister, your
Oh,
brother, your dog?
stay there.
How are you supposed to heal? You got to get to a point where you know what? I got to offer this person grace. I know it didn't work. I know that things didn't go bad, but I need to get out from this stuck place and I need
Yeah.
to move. Because if you're stuck, you have to move. You got to take that first step. That first step could be anything.
Mhm.
It could be blocking them. It could be, even calling their friends and family and say, "Hey, I need to relax for a couple months. I probably won't be talking to you. I know you was close to my ex, but you can do whatever you want with your life to get yourself from point A to point B, because
Mhm.
it's a fight, and heartbreaks do kill you, you know, emotionally,
Yes.
mentally, and physically. So you have to get to that point where you have to choose you and stop choosing the pain and stop feeling
Yeah.
sorry for yourself, and you have to put a plan together.
I love that. And so like when we're talking about that plan and
Hmm.
that willingness to want to
Yeah.
move past, just to stay there, I love the fact that you're putting it of people not wanting to move, basically. Kind of,
Yeah.
we're talking about a choice right there. Like if we're
That's it.
saying that somebody's not willing to or they're not
Yeah.
wanting to, we're talking choices. So that means
Yep.
if I choose not to, that means I there's a choice being made
Yep.
to move forward. There's a choice to
Yeah.
heal.
Yep. Because not that's the beautiful part, because it was this quote, but I can't think about it right now. And if I try to think about it, it's gonna take at least 20 minutes. But not making a choice is a choice. So not,
Mm,
willing to move, it's a choice, because you're choosing not to move.
that part.
So that's still a choice that you're making. You say you don't want to make a choice, but you made a choice not making a choice.
That part. And I
Hmm.
love how you talked about like there has to be a solid plan. So you
Yeah,
mean to tell us like for the listeners, we can't move from a heartbreak unless we have a specific plan? Is that what you're saying?
absolutely. Because people think, you know what people think? You know what people think, Doc, because I call you Doc. What
We're
people
fine.
what people think is that time heal all wounds, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I understand that, right? I understand time heal all wounds, right? But this ain't no cut. This ain't no gash on your arm.
Right.
This is a breakup. Somebody broke your heart. Somebody physically abused you,
Mhm.
emotionally, mentally, verbally abused you, told you wasn't good for nothing. And I know I'm speaking to somebody on this podcast, told you that you were ugly, you were fat, you were too skinny, you weren't their type. They cheated on
Wow.
you, right? They know they willingly chose to take advantage of you, right? And at some point you knew it was wrong, but you still fought for that. You still thought that you could change him or her. You still thought that, you know what, this is probably a phase. And it wasn't a phase, it was facts.
Mm.
Don't try to convince the phase with a fact. The fact is the person was not good for you. They weren't good for a relationship. They probably swindled you in the beginning. You probably missed
Mm.
the red flags. You probably missed all those things. But you have to get to a point where it comes to fall back into choosing
Mhm.
you. You're valuable, and people don't think that they're valuable, so they get stuck.
I'm just making sure I still got some edges in here because you snatching my edges right now, sir. Like
I'm about to put
yo.
them on me. Uh-huh.
No, because oh my gosh, can you talk more about that? The phase
Mhm.
from the facts, because we
Mhm.
forget about that, especially during those
Yeah.
seasons. Talk about that
Yeah.
more, sir. Like you hitting
No,
on something right there.
no, definitely. People always the when you have bad moments, everybody have like little moments, right? They're
Hmm.
moments. But a lot of people, they go through those same moments in phases. Like, oh, you know what? That's just them, you know, coming home late, he cheating, or she's texting her ex. That's just a phase. It's not a phase.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's who they are, right? It's not
Wow.
something that you have to kind of say, you know what, it'll it'll subside. It'll go
Mhm.
away eventually. Let me stop pressuring them. I don't want to be too hard on them. Let me give them their space. No. When you're in a relationship with someone, right, and you're telling this person, this makes me unhappy.
Mhm.
I am sad when you do this. I need you to come home at this time. It's not the demand, like I need you to come home. It's like,
Right.
why are you out this late? I want you home with me and the child. I need you home. I need to cuddle with you. I need to be home with my man, right? I'm my woman.
Mhm.
I need to be home with you. But we have to understand that, stop telling yourself that, this is something that I have to go through. This is not, you don't have to go through
Mhm.
this. You're choosing to go through this. It's a fact. Accept the fact that that's who he or she really is. Stop trying to babysit them and trying to give them leeway all the time. Let them know this right here is not working, and we got
Mhm.
to fix this. We're either going to go to therapy, we either going to go to a doctor. We either going to go to a mental health physician. We're going to go somewhere, and we're going to fix this, because I'm not going to continue this. And if I choose not to continue this, I'm going to end up. I'm going to end up in that heartbreak season they talked about in Yahoo.
Come
That's where
on.
you're going to end. In
Come on.
November, you're going to be breaking up, and I'll be part of that. What, 20%? What it said? Part of that
Yeah, like what?
percentage.
Yeah. It's a lot of people out here breaking up. But
Yep.
you talk listen, like all this information, I feel like we could talk for hours on this because like
Yeah. It's not.
the
Yeah.
gems you are dropping right now is just like mind blowing. You're talking about right now, talking to your partner like, hey, I didn't like when you did X, Y, and Z. I need you to
Hmm.
do this because I'm feeling some
Hmm.
type of way. That's literally boundary setting. Why is it
Yeah.
that, like, when we're in relationships where we kind of see these red flags and ignore them, we just allow these people, our spouses or whoever, to continue to push on those boundaries without us
Mm.
continuing to reinforce them?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that happens,
Yeah.
and it goes back because we always say in the beginning of relationships, yeah, I got boundaries, I got standards. But when you fall in love, a lot of people start forgetting about that. They start
Yeah.
lowering their standards, they start lowering their
Mm,
boundaries, their expectations. And when they start doing that, they start losing who they are,
yeah.
right? And I always tell people that it's like two pair, sorry. Yeah,
You
the
good.
head that when you have two like earphones or headphones, right? Like the ones with the strings on it,
Yeah.
it's you get tangled.
Mm,
And then your personality, your partner's personality gets entangled into this, and you forget to know who you are because you start lowering your standards, you start lowering your boundaries, you start lowering your expectations. And when you start lowering who you are, then it's hard to leave a relationship because the person's like, okay,
wow.
well, you didn't tell me this in the beginning of the relationship. So why am I still like, why are you telling me this now? It's because you
Wow.
forgot about it for a taste of love. That's it.
Mm, mm. Listen, because my edges is snatched, like I already know the listeners' edges is snatched right now. So many things that you're saying right now, Keishorne, and I really, I love how you're talking about some of these things that we allow to just push past. We just accept it and allow it in relationships to the point where, because of things like enmeshment and being entangled, which are very unhealthy in any type of relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, we tend to forget our own standards and expectations. So I am here for all these gems that you're dropping right now. You were talking about some like amazing, mind-blowing things right now. I know we talked about a plan that we need in order to
Mhm.
overcome heartbreak, but I'm wondering, on the opposite end, what would you say are some things that we should absolutely not do when trying to overcome a heartbreak?
Yeah. I mean, a few things that we shouldn't do. Number one, stop texting your ex out of loneliness, right? You
Say it
know the relationship is over. Stop texting your ex out of loneliness. You know the relationship is over. You know it's done.
again. Done.
Stop texting them. It's over, right? And I know that's part of the grieving phase that you go through because, or the stage that you go through because of different stages of heartbreak. But the number one thing is you don't have to reach out, and reaching out is not a part of the healing process, right?
Mm,
Not reaching out is. um don't do that. That's number one. That's number one. And don't reach out to their family members either, or their friends, to see how they're doing, right? Because how they're doing, and or I always tell people this: who they're doing and what they're doing and who they're doing it with is none of your business, right?
exactly.
So when you're healing, mind your business, right? Whatever
Yep.
they're doing, whoever they're doing it with, whatever they're posting, whatever they're liking is none of your business anymore. The relationship is over. I know that's hard because people say that is my business. No, it's not. It's not your business. Your business is healing, getting back
Mm,
together, loving yourself, putting yourself first, right? Going to see a therapist, right? Whatever scars you have, mental or emotional scars that the person caused, or even physical scars, you have to get yourself back together. And that's your season. Your season is that healing season, that I love me season, that I'm like we spoke about. I'm gonna put me first season. I choose me season, right? Because you put up with so much BS, right, in
yeah.
in the relationship, that this is the time that you actually stand on your 2 feet. And for some
Mm,
people, when you get out of a breakup, it's your first time actually breathing, right?
mm,
Like you're like, you can actually take a deep breath and be like, you know what? Wow. I know that I'm missing a part of me, but I still haven't even stepped into the best parts of me yet. And this is the
exactly.
season to do so. So you don't ever go back. You don't ever, I think it says, sometimes a dog or something goes back to the vomit or something like that.
Mhm.
You can't be like that. You can't go back to the past. You can't go back. And I know it's hurtful. And I know you're gonna
Yeah.
cry, you're gonna be upset, you're gonna be angry, but it's okay. How you heal is you gotta move forward and you gotta choose you.
Mm.
And it's
So,
uncomfortable.
yeah. So you mean to tell me, in the microphone, you mean to tell me we don't need to be scrolling on the social media pages when after a
No,
breakup?
no, block them. That's going to cause you more pain. A lot of people, what's so funny? I've met clients who said, "Well, I can't do that. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good." then why? But this person disrespected you. They put their hands on you. They played you. But no, you know what? I don't really care. You see, Keisha, I'm not like that. I'm not petty. It's not being petty. It's stepping into your purpose. It's two different things. You can't say that's petty. It's not
Right.
petty. They broke your heart. They're the
Yes.
person. They're the reason why you were crying at night. They're the reason why you couldn't eat. They're the reason why you still can't sleep. You tossing and turning at night. You going to work with tears in your eyes. You're leaving your work to go into a bathroom and cry
Wow.
because this person broke your heart. And you're saying you can't block this person? This person should be deleted out of your life, out of
Mm.
your mind, and you got to get rid of them. You have to you have to take some brave steps. You have to take some brave steps in this season. And I'm happy that we're doing this podcast in January because you got a whole 11 months to put
Yes.
all of this into perspective, think about it, and then implement.
Come on. Because you know
Hmm.
what's the funny part though, Keishorne? We can go through the worst time during
Yeah,
that relationship and want
yeah.
to get out. But during that season of like heartbreak, when I can't eat, I can't sleep, it's
Hmm.
so hard to remember all the bad times. It's
Yeah,
so hard to remember like why I broke up with this person in the first place. And I
yeah,
feel like that's like we were talking about before, that keeps people stuck in that
yeah,
cycle.
yeah. You got to remember what they did. You got to remember who
Yes.
you are. Like in Wakanda, when they was fighting, they said, "Remember who you are." A lot of people,
Yes.
we forgot who we are. You
Mm,
completely forgot who you are. And
mm.
I bet you that person that wasn't with that person a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, she or he would have left. But now you in love, and you afraid that you're not gonna find somebody else. You probably be hitting that 35 and over club. You're like, oh my gosh. And these men in their 40s, they acting the same. They the same as the ones in the 25. So you're like, oh my
Child,
gosh.
yes.
So it's hard, and we get it. But what's worse? Being in a relationship where it is clearly no love. You're
Mhm.
fighting for someone who don't know how to love you, or even
Yeah.
how to love themselves, or spending some time loving yourself and healing and working on yourself and growing as a person. I think that's more important than anything else.
Exactly, exactly. Spending given that,
Yeah.
what did you call the season? The season of me, the season of choosing
Yeah.
me.
Season of me. Yeah.
That's
Choose me
it.
season. That's it.
Me
Uh-huh.
season. Choose
Me
me season.
season.
That's what we doing. That's what we doing all 2022. I love it.
Yeah.
So Kishorn, like my last question for you before we go into the Ask Dr. Chanda segment,
Hmm.
you had a post that was very interesting to me. I kind of want to
Yeah.
dig deep into it. So you had said going to bed with a
Hmm.
broken heart hits different at night, but remember, crying at night is an upgrade if you compare it to an unhealthy relationship with someone that you're no longer in love with. So I want you to kind of dig deeper into that because that post was fire
Hmm.
and spoke to so many people. It spoke to me. So
Yeah.
I know it spoke to somebody. So just explain that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote that post. I think I was sleeping. I'm
Mm,
not sleeping. Of course, I wasn't sleeping right in the post, but I was laying down, and somebody posted something, and then I get inspired when I see certain things, like certain conversation inspire me to write something short and sweet. But it's hard writing quotes. It's hard. So um, I wanted to write something at night, and then I said, you know what? It was so hard. I remember with my breakup, it was so hard
mm-hmm.
going to sleep. You're tossing and turning, and your mind is driving you crazy. And you leave the house, you probably go to another part, you sit down watching TV. But for some reason, that emotion, that feeling doesn't leave you. It follows you wherever you go. And then I realized, like, it's all these tears got to be worth something. It got to be all these. It got to end at some point, you
Yes.
know. And I realized that if I got to go through this crying stage, then this is an upgrade than being in a relationship with someone who don't love you. This
Hello.
right here, I will go through this pain over and over again rather than being in a relationship trying to teach someone how to love me over and over again.
Mm,
Imagine in a relationship with someone over and over, we repeating the same things. I need you to love me. I need you to be there. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you to do this. Like you're a child, right? Like you're a preschool teacher, and the person doesn't love you. I'd rather cry by myself, you
yeah.
know, than be with someone who truly can appreciate me for me. That's a
Mm,
downgrade. That's a downgrade from crying. That's a downgrade from the pain. Sometimes
mm.
heartbreak is that upgrade, man. It might not look like it,
Oh,
but you got to stop picking up what God is telling you to put down. And a lot of people is picking up
wait.
that pain and picking up those people, and God's like, stop. I told you I got something better. You're like, nah, God, I'm 36 and I need babies. I need a house. I need something. So he like, I got you, but we don't trust. We don't believe. We want what we want now. Yep.
We can literally talk about this all day, but I respect your time. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna wrap up here. That's gonna be the
Yeah.
title of this episode. Heartbreak is the upgrade. Because
Heartbreak is the upgrade. Yep. I love
yes,
that. I actually love that. Yeah.
yeah, you need to make that a shirt, like patent it.
Heartbreak is the upgrade. Heartbreak.
I
That's
love
a
it,
good
yo.
one though.
No, it really is. And you literally look, that's how I know whenever I'm like speaking and I know God is speaking through me. Like when you
Yeah.
spit fire and you don't even know you saying it, like that's what you
Yeah.
just did. So
Yeah, that's good. I like that, because a lot of
yeah,
people, they don't really talk about like God in certain things. And you started
yeah.
talking about that in the beginning, and
Hmm.
I was doing this show in Ohio like a couple of weeks ago, I forgot when it was this month, right? And when I was on the show, um me and my friend was like, yo, we need to talk about God a little bit. We need to throw that in there. But sometimes when you're around people, you're like, I don't know if I should because I'm gonna go
Right.
some deep and they might not understand me. So she was like, probably know her. It's Keandra, right? And she's she's a therapist. And she's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know, Key. Like, thing. But then it had this other young lady that was there, and she came out, and she was on that episode with us, another episode with us, and she was spitting fire. And I looked back and I was like, all right, let's go. It's like, but I want to get to a point where it's like I don't have to wait for someone else
Yeah.
to do it before I start speaking about it. And it's something that I was speaking about, with myself today.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm about to start just going hard on everybody. I'm about to just start opening up, coming out my shell. I think that's what it was when
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, you need to come out your shell a little bit more.
Hmm.
But yeah, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it.
No,
Man.
I love that. And I notice like the more I do it, the
Yeah,
more doors open up because people don't expect a psychologist or whatever how they see
yeah,
me to like talk about like faith and then the
yeah,
mental health concept.
yeah,
And it makes it that much more relatable and applicable. Like
yeah,
somebody might not understand like the Freudian, like all
yeah,
those different things that white people made up and put them in
yeah,
books. They might not
yeah,
understand that, but they might be able to understand like, okay, prayer got me through X, Y, and Z, and
yeah,
about how
yeah,
also biological, spiritual, and mental.
yeah.
So I
That's
think
true.
that's one of the gifts of like being multifaceted,
Hmm.
and I definitely see that in you. Like I said, like I enjoyed you today on this podcast.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
literally
Same here.
been
It was really good.
yeah, yeah. We gotta do it again. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
So
let me
real quick,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Can you tell the people where they can find you about your book? Like, how can they connect with Keishorne, book your services, all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, right now I don't do coaching. That's on hold, maybe forever. I don't know yet.
Okay.
But right now you can find me at Keishorne Scott. Yeah, Keishorne. I'm sure it's probably somewhere on the podcast or link. So it's enter my name anywhere, any social media site, and you'll find me. And my books on Amazon as well.
Awesome, awesome. And the book is called
Bits and Pieces. That's 50
Awesome.
quotes for a soul crushing breakup.
Love it, love it. So y'all know if y'all are listening to this podcast, whether it's on YouTube or on any of the Audible audio
Yeah.
platforms, link is in the bio. So all you got to do is click that. You can get your book today, and make sure
Yep.
you hit up Keishorne and thank him for it, because I believe it's going to be a life changing book. Like I
Yeah.
believe that this book will touch many lives. Yeah. So again, Keishorne, I appreciate you, and so we're going to wrap up using the Ask Dr. Chanda question. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
All right. So, very last segment of the day, we talk about the Ask Dr. Chanda segment where people text or call in their mental health related questions. And because it's the Love and Relationship series, we're specifically talking about love and relationships. And this anonymous listener stated, I am ready to date, but I don't think I'm ready to get rejected again. It feels
Mm.
devastating every time I put myself out there. So, Keishorne, I'm wondering your thoughts on how you would help this individual.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably start off by saying, rejection is a part of dating.
Period.
You're going to be rejected at some level. It might not be with the dating stage, but it's going to be with something. Maybe the
Mhm.
problem is not, with dating. Maybe it's rejection in a whole. Maybe that's something that you have to work on. But
Yeah.
to fall in love is the fear of being lied to, being cheated on,
Mhm.
and it's hard to say. It's like, what? But that's relationships, is taking that risk, of love, and relationships and dating and marriage, all a risk, because you're not going to know your partner 100%. You're actually
Mm-hmm.
still getting to know your partner even after marriage. Even after the relationship, you're still getting to know them. So I would definitely say, that I tell everybody, jump and build your wings coming down. Sometimes we can't just jump and start flying right away. So sometimes you got to be like those birds, and you push them off the ledge and you're falling, but you know that you're falling, but you still got to build your wings and try your best to
Love
fly.
it.
So I would say take that leap of faith.
I love it. I love it. Y'all heard it here first. Keishorne Scott said, go ahead and get out there, sis. So that's what we're going to do.
Hmm.
Um, again, thank you so much, Keishorne, for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Yeah, and I can't wait to have you back. So
Yep.
listen, y'all, you're listening to the Paging Dr. Chanda podcast. Remember, this is the love and relationship series all month long. So don't forget, next Wednesday, we have another special guest who will be coming. And also, like I always say, you have the power to create the emotions that you want to experience. All right, y'all. God bless.